Do you have papers from Warrior House Turin that I can look at to verify this?
Unfortunately, as much as I could say we should, we were attacked on the way by a ferocious red lion that tore apart our missives. We have the pelts if you'd like to see it.
I'll pull out the pelt.
Oh my! The fact, I mean, it's missing one of its paws, but that's pretty good, actually. You know, it's actually difficult to take out these lions. They're pretty tough around here.
No, it's pretty simple. We only lost like 1 or 2 people.
Wow.
What a good lie.
I love it.
Roll a deception, please.
I had an 11.
Don't make
God,
lies then
8.
when you don't need
Another
them.
8.
I corroborate.
Rodin weaves a story around it. And Whirlin is just gonna watch with like his mouth like slightly agape and just slowly close it back.
Rodin, say something that corroborates this.
I basically followed through telling the story as I said before. We were on watch, lion pounce. We were going over our misses and everything else to make sure we had everything in order. Lion attacked Whirlin, hence the wounds, hence the beat up appearance. In the chaos, it was shredded or tossed into the fire. And as such, we were kind of just scrambling around thinking, crap, what else can we potentially do? Wait a minute, we are nearby where that is. How about we go there while everything is still fresh in our heads and see if they understand? And I'll be using a combination of stun, silence, and sway the crowd on that because wait a minute, all that and you're still here?
Yeah, the woman that you're speaking to is not only stunned silent, she's completely aghast. She's like, all right, then here's what you do. You need to speak with your representative from House Turin here. Did they at least send them here? Because we do have one, but we didn't have any notes of anybody coming to join them.
If any such messages or missives came about, it was probably lost in transit. We had to make a few detours very last second. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. All right. Well, the only other person here from House Turin would be Torgraf. He is the current captain of the Turin house that is helping with the expedition of Calvaral. One of 3 warrior houses here that has started working on this. So you probably need to speak to him. He's either in the town here or inside Calvaral itself.
Guess we have to start hunting him down then.
I believe we will do just that. And thank you so much for your understanding and your grace.
Yeah. Get it. Just when you talk to him, he'll tell you what to do. Just leave Gavorn alone. He's not in a good mood today.
Understood.
Right? Have a pleasant day. And now it's time for us to get out while we're still ahead.
As we're walking out, you just see like a little handkerchief and just...
Rodin, that was so nice of you. I didn't know it was worth 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's muted.
I swear, if I keep doing this head tilt, it's going to turn into a GIF. The rate keeps going.
So I think we probably need to actually ask around about the precise whereabouts of this captain.
Sounds like it.
Should we just, before everyone figures out we've lied our way in here, should we just quickly make our way inside and get lost?
That would be a really stupid idea.
Oh Jesus!
Generally speaking, it's a good. Generally speaking, it's a good thing if we have more people down there. There's a lot more than just, I don't know, nugs down there. The deep roads and tides are very dangerous places, and we can very easily be ambushed or killed. So I say it's best to keep our associations up. We just think on our toes.
How are we going to convince this representative that we are representatives of their house without
Well-
any documentation? And he probably would have had prior knowledge if that was going to happen.
I guess the best way we can do that is ask really nicely, and if all else fails, offer coin.
Well, they said Warren was mad in there. I wonder what's actually happening recently. Let's just talk around town for a little bit. Let's gather some information. We need to figure out where he is, and we need to figure out what's going on as well. So let's start there. I'm gonna get a juice. I'm gonna go to the bar and just start talking with people.
You go to the Nug Hugger. I'm never going to get tired of saying that.
Yup.
And you meet, it's actually pretty crowded. You see a couple of humans, but it's like 80% dwarf. So at the very least, humans are not out of place. Elves, however, you think you're the only one.
Oh, well, I guess I'm interesting at least.
That's one way of putting it. And let's see. You go to the bar. The barkeep, who looks like this bald, fat dwarf with no hair, like his entire face is shaven.
Oh, that's disturbing.
He says, "Hey there, pointy ear. What do you want?"
Let's see. I could get something light for right now, and maybe a small meal, and he'll just go ahead and start talking about the weather, and then start gossiping around.
Go ahead and roll communication for that. As you do that, the barkeep laughs. He says, "Light? Oh, you elves don't like drinking too much, do you?"
Well, we were in Kirkwall until recently, and that kind of put me off of it for a bit.
Oh, really? Like, isn't that place a shithole?
And he's just going to nod. It's like, well, I'm not sure I would use those words, but they are accurate.
Yeah, I've heard some things about Kirkwall lately. It's like all destroyed and stuff. It's like where those damn mages started like mind melting people and turning them into demons and all this shit on the surface, man. It's so weird. That's why I stay in here.
Well, it's not like the whole place is completely gone. Most of the city seems intact. Just the big monumental things seem like they've seen better days.
Look, almost every dwarf here only has permission to be up here right now as we restore this place.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, once it's gone, we're going back under where we belong. So whatever you're dealing with out here, I honestly could care less as long as it doesn't touch here.
I suppose that's fair. As long as you're not in Kirkwall, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I guess I'm just glad to be away from there.
Besides, it's across, what do you call that? That water thing, the rivers, right?
Yeah. You actually had to cross over one of the seas to get over here. That was fun. I've never been on a boat before.
You never catch me on a boat. Just sounds like a bad idea. Why would you want to fly across water when you can go under it?
Well, it's very pretty to look at. The way the sun shines across the water, the way it ripples and waves. And you can actually see a lot of the fish that jump out of the water sometimes.
I don't really want to look at the sky. I don't want to fall into it. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Brooklyn just like chuckles at that one.
That's still my favorite.
Doesn't consider for a second anyone could seriously believe that.
That's still my favorite bit of like superstition that the Orzammar dwarves have about being on the surface.
So Whirlin will go ahead and ask. So I guess what about what's going around here lately? Certainly nothing as terrible as Kirkwall.
Oh no, standard stuff. Just the excavation's a little slower than what they thought. Connecting to the deep roads from Orzammar has been difficult. So they gave us mostly special permission to travel on the surface to set up here and try and reverse engineer the connection between that and the Calharal. The hope is it'll eventually become the next open Tig, and that'll, increase our population tenfold.
Oh wow, yeah.
Kind of needed, especially after that blight kind of helped us a little bit.
Hmm. It's dangerous stuff.
But all those darkspawn, from what I hear, now back down underground, causing havoc.
Ooh, havoc? Oh, that doesn't sound good.
That's what darkspawn do. That's why I run a bar.
Well, we're gonna be going down there soon to actually help out with that. Oh gosh, I hope it's not actually too much.
Then again, I never would be good for the warrior cast anyway.
I've heard a bit about the warrior cast. I mean, it's just like any other knight anywhere else, right?
Look, I'm not a scholar that can explain this. Just know that the dwarves are in different castes. Warriors are just below the nobles in terms of prestige. Me, I'm just part of the merchant caste, they call it, technically. I just ply trades, and my trade happens to be beer. Speaking of which, you didn't buy one.
Oh, here, let me go ahead and push over the money. How much is he charging for today?
3 silver.
Okay, I'll go ahead and mark off 3 silver.
And he gives you a good one. He says, "You're in for a treat here, Elf. This is something directly from Orzamar's casks."
Oh, well, this ought to be special. And
I
he'll go
call
ahead
it.
and
I call it the deep mushroom.
deep mushroom. All right, and he'll go ahead and like take a sip of it first, just to see how it tastes, and then take like a longer drink.
It is. You ever have like a Sam Adams cherry wheat?
I don't drink myself, so I don't have much I can go with on this one.
I don't drink Sam Adams, so I can't.
But cherry wheat already sounds like a very thick kind of flavor.
It is. It's like a very thick flavor, very fruity.
Hmm.
Like that's what I was kind of like trying to go with on terms of like what it would probably taste like.
Yeah.
So it has a strong, pungent aroma.
Yeah. So this sounds interesting. I think like temporarily Whirlin forgets like his whole thing about like never drinking again and just like drinks it down very happily.
I'm sure he does.
Oh gosh, after being on the road for so long, this is actually great.
You haven't had real ale until you drink something from Orzammar.
I'll definitely tell everyone else that now.
Jeez.
What are you two? What are the three of you doing? I should actually ask. I'm assuming Mosca is skulking around.
Hmm.
I'm looking around the town myself, and I actually start looking for like a tavern or an inn to speak, or see if I can find people of interest.
Basically,
You got
same like with me.
Yeah, pretty much. The only tavern is the Nug Hugger.
I go in, I see Whirlin, I turn on my heel, I Abe Simpson out.
Does your mother know your work? Yeah. No. Then what are you doing here? Dad said it's okay. In that case, give me 2.
Oh dear.
That's a great episode, actually.
Crap. I don't know where else I really could go to trawl for information. Honestly, I'm kind of conking out. Go to Marius. I'll think of something.
Aris, what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask around the town or whatever, maybe on surface, about any houses that are desperate. They've lost a lot of people and they're looking for anyone they can find.
Huh. All right. I guess that would be a communication role. Communication investigation.
How do I roll good now?
Directly talking to someone.
Would this be still roleplay, or could this be exploration?
Well, what were you thinking of doing?
Just asking around, getting.
No, I
talking
mean
to
like in terms of stun points. What were you
So
thinking of doing?
just. Yeah. No, I'll just go with
Okay, I'll say that again.
Flirt with the
nah, I
dwarves.
don't think that's really. I'll just go with sway the crowd. Just to.
All right.
Yeah.
You ask around, you actually find out a lot. There are currently there's one major mining house and one major artisan house that were both favored by the King of Orzammar that are here, and that's House Keltar and House Saldris.
Did I get a name for the King of Orzammar?
Yes, I'll give it to you in a second.
Cannon, cannon, cannon.
We also have two merchant houses here that were given. I'm giving you all the houses first, and you're going to get the king. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Two merchant houses: House Harak and House Thedic. So those are the merchants. Cast has like two here as well. Oh no, excuse me. Yeah, they do. Doral and Tolar. It's a good thing I wrote this down ahead of time. I actually looked up these names. These are actual houses in the game, or mentioned in the game at least.
And a lot of them all working here.
Like, yeah, my God, they mentioned like 30 of these fucking houses, but they only use like 4 of them in the plot.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
You have 3 warrior casts. You got Turin, Broska, and Salic. As for noble, you have 4 nobles that are working here right now, and they are headed by the King of Orzammar, who is King Haramont. Is leading the charge here, but then you also have House Ivo, House Dace, and House Bronca. So there's your breakdown on everything.
Quite a bit. And we were suggested towards House Turin.
Turin, yeah.
Because that's who we said we were from. Which seemed the most likely to work with services?
Well, in your information on this, the King Haramont right now has a lot of close allies in the Senate, specifically with the 3 that are here: Ivo, Dace, and Bronca. All three of them are kind of on the same page as Haramont, where they're really trying to keep it dwarf-centric and somewhat isolationist. He is kind of conservative in that regard. The warrior cast, they don't have any qualms hiring mercenaries, but they tend to focus on warriors within their own house or who have pledged to their houses. The smith cast is probably, they're open to using pretty much anybody in terms of like expertise, but that's like crafting and things like that. Artisan and mining are supporting the smith castes, and the merchants are keeping a lot of the town in check. So mining, artisan, and merchant are the lower houses, and they don't really have much to do with the actual logistics. You know, Gavorn is from House Dural, for example. So he's the head smith in charge. And he's being sponsored by House Dace, because they're the ones that commissioned House Dural here. This is where the shit gets political and complicated.
So the best one would probably be to one of the warrior houses and prove ourselves as competent warriors.
That might be a good in. You could also do the smith and like showcase your good at work, or if you're really good, you can really try and get in with the noble houses. But you really need a good in with them.
Yeah.
Right, and I think as we've clarified a few times, we're not actually all that great at doing the lies. Or
Man, we
communicating.
could lie again about recovering important relic for them and then just take it.
Mhm. Again, we're not
Could
really
do that. Could do
But
that. I don't
honestly,
know.
let's see. So we at least have the breakdown of these. Marius, one of the things we were interested in is where the captain of House Turian is right now, like if he's on the surface or if he's down below.
Would I've got that information or
He is in Calharal right now, but he's probably not in the deep roads. You can actually go into like the what they're calling the merchant quarters in Calharal. That is open at the moment. In fact, see that
It's
map
map
right
time.
now.
Yeah.
But it's a little stretched. I do apologize, but
It's good.
This is the merchant quarters. This is stuff that's been excavated and cleared. This is directly below the surface, but it is an area that is open and safe, and you see hundreds of dwarves running around here.
would I have been also able to get any information on what the Amber Breaker is or where it might be?
You get nothing on that, unfortunately. That one's probably going to take some expertise.
Yeah, I doubt the general populace knows a whole lot.
Oh, well, what do you guys want to do? Or did actually let me go back a step. Rodin, did you figure out anything you wanted to do?
I think, considering kind of how out of my element I am, I would just kind of wander around and just listen in and trying to find something regarding any kind of talk about House Turin.
Do a perception hearing, please.
Sure.
Since you're specifically not asking questions, you're just listening.
Yeah. 15.
You actually do. If you come across a couple of dwarves saying, they're talking about how the warrior castes are all like competing for different, effectively different contracts to go in and be the ones to clear out the deep roads because of the prestige you can bring. Because the idea is, again, trying to connect this Tig to Orzammar, which is hundreds of miles away.
And there's
underground.
There's tons of uncharted material between the deep roads and there with who knows what, darkspawn, whatever else, yeah.
Yeah. Funny question.
House... Oh, go ahead.
Since we have all these houses here, and we know they're all involved politically and doing different things, are the Grey Wardens here at all?
Considering
the Grey Warden, that's a good question. Hold on. The Grey Wardens would be involved, but they would be as a support role here. They're kind of like, it's technically, they discovered Cal Haral.
Mhm.
So it's more so like they're just checking in on the dwarves, but leaving them to their own devices.
Okay.
And the House Haramont is welcoming of the Grey Wardens being involved in here, but otherwise they're not really doing anything else. They're not joining the expeditions. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. They're just here advising, waiting for something terrible to happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Support, checking in, making sure nothing bad's happening. If they say there's large darkspawn or something, they would probably call a Grey Warden in to come and help and whatnot. But the dwarves have been fighting that shit for so long. And just for clarification, Ogren is no longer a noble.
Right, of course.
Yeah, he's a surfer now, so no longer.
Right.
He got stripped of his house. His wife, however, is still noble.
Okay.
I thought they split up. But
What's that?
I thought they split up.
That entire quest line is fucked up in a lot of ways. Let's just be real.
I'd rather not be reminded of the Broodmother, please. Stop. No.
I have one in my back pocket just in case.
So go find a broodmother, everybody. I'm sure it'll go great with 3 mages.
Whee!
And 1 rogue.
At level
Plus,
3.
you can watch us all die. Yeah.
We just have to keep stunlocking it, and slowly.
At level 3.
It's okay. Marius has the magical amulet that the broodmother can then grab and then use later on to take over the servers.
Hey, wait a minute. Where Rodin go?
Would you like me to give you a taste of what it can do?
Oh yeah, hit us. Let's see how terrifying the roll is. Alright, that's not actually too bad, but caustic spit doesn't sound great.
That damage is penetrating, so it ignores all armor.
Ooh, yeah.
That's just a taste.
That was the attack roll, not the damage.
Yeah,
I know that's the attack. Oh, I rolled the wrong thing. Fuck.
Whoops. Yeah, now here's where it rolls 10d8. It just rolled
Close.
Yeah. Yeah, 1d4, 8 penetrating. Still,
Nope.
it's still scary though.
The lion did more damage, but this is automatic penetrating. That's not even the strongest attack.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so at least now we have some more information. Was there more Rodin was getting, I think?
Yes.
Because I think that was yours.
Okay, so yeah, I'm still listening in regarding the conversation.
Well, the dwarves are talking like, what would they say? Okay. Yeah, Titus is the one that's really really pushing for Salik right now. He's they're talking about this guy named Titus Salik. He is sort of like the leader of the dwarves, for House Salik, for the warrior caste there, and they think he's going to be the one that's going to get the main commission. And the other 2 houses are conspiring to stop that at the moment. That's what the rumors are at the moment. So you got another name.
Interesting.
And then I guess after all the talking, we sort of reconvene and figure things out. So, how are we going to do this?
I don't know.
I think the best way is to go to one of the warrior houses and just prove ourselves as warriors.
Mm-hmm. And we did
so
already...
Yeah. Because dwarves care about prestige and honor. That's all they care about. So if we can prove that we're worthy warriors and we can kill the most darkspawn, reclaim the most area, they'll let us go in.
Okay. And we've already dealt with, or at least tried to tie ourselves to House Turin. We may as well go ahead and try bothering them and see how this turns out. And I mean, if nothing else, the only marketable skill we have is as competent warriors, right?
Well, if the warriors
We are
have-
an entire party of mages.
I mean,
Single.
speak for yourself.
if
I'm
the-
just pointing out the hilarious just irony of this whole statement. We need to prove ourselves as warriors or mages.
Werlin has a mighty arm, so he's not a mage. He is a muscle mage. He's a warrior.
I cast fist.
Also known as a buff wizard.
Yeah.
Swole.
Just wait until they
Swole.
start popping heroic offensive. All right.
Do you ever see the picture of Obama with big muscles?
Oh gosh, I can just kind of imagine the meme of it now.
It's the meme was called Swobama.
Oh gosh, swollen. Yeah, that would be just World's soul name.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear. My CrossFit WODs are legit.
All right, so
Okay, we're getting off that.
so we know the captain is down here, in the underground area, and people are allowed in there. So I guess we just need to hunt down his specific location and see if we can get in.
Yes.
All right, everybody, let's go. I'm drunk enough to make this happen. Which is to say,
Sure.
not at all, because I had one drink.
All right, are you going in?
Yep, that'll be the idea.
Start asking around for House Turin.
Mhm.
And they eventually point you to, they do point you to an area that is in the back. So in this, you see the map on right now. Over this area where number 6 is.
Mhm.
This place is most of this area, where it's known as the Market Square, has turned into a makeshift staging fortress. But you notice that the dwarves themselves have cordoned off each other based off of house. And they say that House Turin has this small alcove where 6 is. That's where their office is.
Mhm.
Inside, you actually see a dwarf with a reddish hair that's really long and thick, with a streak of white in his beard.
Ooh, very fancy. Torgraph Turin.
This is one I actually made ahead of time.
Yeah.
And he says, as he looks up to you, and he was reading. Looks like he was reading some sort of parchment. He looks up to you. And he says, "What? You here for messages or something?" Specifically to Werlin, because he sees you as an elf.
Yeah. Orlesian just kind of like wave, smile, of course. Let's slide off. Don't try to hold it in. Orlesian will just go ahead and say, and more. We're here for work. We're mercenaries. Rodin.
He takes down. He puts down the scroll, takes off a pair of spectacles that he had, and lays them down and looks you all up. He says, "You don't look like mercenary types to me."
Well, we've been on the road and fighting for some time now together. It is definitely our. What would I say?
It's
Not
definitely within,
specialty. Our best feature, I think.
it's definitely within our idiom.
How are you dressed right now, Rodin?
Imagine sort of tight leather, sort of leather armor, but not exactly fancy leather armor. Like it's been patched and kind of beat up for a while, and it's mostly covered with a hooded cloak. Hood is lowered though, when mask is on.
That's what I wanted to check, so we can see your face. All right, and Marius, I'm assuming you're still Tevinter. He looks at the three of you. He says, well, this is an interesting group. We got, let's see, you two look like you can fight. You there, he points to Marius. You're from the Tevinter, aren't you?
What gave it away?
I've seen a lot of you rich types with your fancy robes and whatnot. You know, we actually have a lot of family that goes to that city in Tevinter. We even have our own garrison there.
Yeah. Did I?
Roll a historical lore.
Let's see all the bad blood that he has to deal with today. Yeah.
You know, historically, the dwarves have always had a pretty good relationship with Tevinter Imperium. So much so that they have embassies up there in the north, which are considered parts of Orzammar just by proxy. Like, if this makes any sense, they've carved out giant caverns where different nobles and smiths and things like that can live in Minrathous. So, and they're all considered literally like Orzammar territory, almost like an embassy, if that makes any sense. So much so that they don't even have to go to the surface; they just stay in those caverns for a while until they have to leave.
Oh, yeah, that Turin, yes, I remember now. I actually was friends with a couple of Turins up there in the garrison. Nice blokes.
You're probably thinking about my third cousin. I haven't talked to Miko in a while. He's probably dead. Anyway. All right, so here's the deal, though. I wasn't told you were coming. You got a missive?
Whirlin at this point will go ahead and hold up the red lion pelt for dramatic effect for Rodin to do his spiel.
I once again.
He sees the lion pelt. He says, "That's not a missive. That's a pelt, kid."
It ain't the. Whirlin just sputters while Rodin will do the actual explaining.
I kind of look around, make sure we're alone.
Yeah, it's just him right now. A lot of the other warriors are outside of the office.
I make sure the door is closed.
You close it. I says, "What are you doing?"
Here's what happened.
Look, I don't have time for a long story. We're already in trouble as it is because we're losing out on the main contract. So if you're really here for work, I'm not going to lie, it's probably just going to be guard duty, unless if you got a better plan.
Well, I hear you want to clear the deep roads. We can help with that.
That is the idea. The problem, though, is the other Braska and Salic right now. They're the ones that are doing most of the clearing. We've been relegated to guard duty. Goddamn guard duty.
How may we help you in this situation to change these dire circumstances, or unfortunate circumstances?
Part of the problem, though, is Braska and Salic. They've been getting really buddy with Haramont and Branca House. You know, we've been working mostly with House Dace, and while they got some sway in there, they're kind of being overruled by the other three.
Well,
look, this is all bullshit politics. You probably have nothing you want to deal with. Point, though, is if you really want to actually go out there and do some fighting, you need to actually show yourselves to be capable of doing the fighting.
I put a demon hand on the table. We killed a demon.
What the fuck is that?
We killed a demon.
Well, that's something I didn't expect to see today.
Wait, you just been keeping that in your bag this whole time?
A trophy.
Remind me to slap you when this is over, Marius.
Why would you? That's just creepy.
Remind me to slap you.
Everyone in the room is shocked by him.
Mine's bigger.
Torgif looks at this all and says, well, that actually is impressive. Although we haven't been dealing with demons as far as we know, just the standards, deep stalker, spiders, a couple of darkspawn left over from what we were dealing with before. Thankfully, they're not really a threat. Look, our biggest problem right now is House Branca is supplying golems to the other houses. We're not getting that many. If you can fight as good as a golem, maybe we can get onto the main duty, because they're using the golems to clear out the roads quicker.
How much pride does House Bronca take in their golems?
Well, ever since Paragon Branca came back, she's used it to try and usher in a new age for the dwarves, apparently. Supposedly, she found the place where they were created, a tide that was home to the Paragon Caradin. That's what they say, at least. I'm sure the noble houses can tell you more, but from what I understand, she's using that tide to make more golems.
Just as a not really a plan, but an option. Would you say that if you put forward warriors, and I point at us, challenging a golem to prove that your house warriors are better, would that prove that you should be on the front lines, not guarding?
That's not a bad idea, but the big problem here is you're basically Sellswords. You're not an actual warrior from the house. You can get the warrior. It's like you get the blessing, but you don't get the prestige. You know what I mean?
What if we assist
that is
your
problematic.
warriors?
Assist one
Let
of
your
my
warriors
warriors.
let them have the final blow against the golem, but we assist them.
We of course. We are more companions, assisting and helping to promote the skill and ability of one of your own.
How well do you know dwarven politics?
I'd say it's over my head, but usually it's kind of beneath me.
Let me
And
roll.
Orlin says that while cracking a big smile.
I know they exist, and they can give you a headache if you look at them for too long.
Politics is politics.
Oh dear. Did you roll another historical lore, Marius?
No,
I think that was the previous one.
I can if that.
No, it's oh yeah. The current one was just the one I just did.
I might have learnt basic dwarven politics to interact with them since I was an Altus, but I don't know.
I know a little bit, but that's why I wanted you to roll. Yeah. That's actually not horrible. Rodin, you got a very passing notion of it. You just know like the caste system and how they're always like infighting and it's backstabby and shit. Marius, you know that things were shaken up because of the blight, because their king died, and then they had like a crisis of succession. You know things are a little shaky right there, and currently the previous House Adukin, is in exile. But you also know that the current noble houses are the ones that kind of serve as like the main power structure. And the fact that Orzammar is getting more isolationist is a problem for some of the other houses who rely on surface trade, who rely on goods coming into Orzammar, all that kind of stuff. There's also rumors that some of the other houses are conspiring to kill King Haramont at the moment. But this is all shit you've heard like years ago before you were on this adventure. After Tordif says this, look, normally the way it works is that you guys would just be hired on commissions as representative of the house. So if you do something bad, it comes on us. I can, however, allow you to be what's considered the second to those within the house. We have about 30 warriors from House Turin here, mostly because they've been assigned for guard duty. Compare that to about the other 30 to 50 from the other two houses, and a dozen or so golems apiece. We got no golems. But if you think you can outdo a golem or two while following some of my best warriors as their seconds, I think we can maybe make that arrangement. Because you got one thing they don't have.
Magic.
Exactly.
Just from the rumors I've heard about golems, do I think we could take one?
We would need a control rod for the golems.
I mean, we also fight one. Like, if we fought one, would we win?
Fuck if I know.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Let me check the stats of an actual standard golem.
I'm thinking more so just my opinion, like from the rumors I've heard about them. Would I personally think that we could fight them or not?
You might be able to take it. It depends, though.
Yeah. I mean, or another option, I say quietly but loudly enough that someone in the room that's not always here might hear. We could find something to blackmail the other houses for you.
Turin says,
Politics,
look, I know how politics works with even the noble houses and whatnot. They can do all these favors as they want, but I'm not playing dirty. If you can find something that actually can... Let's put it this way. If you're actually able to find something that could besmirch a house or something like that, that's on you. But I'm not looking for it. It's not my style.
Well, how about...
Well, I can appreciate your
I guess
style for sure. It's really direct compared to what we normally do.
You find the warrior houses to be more direct than others.
I could get used to it.
What do you guys think? Should we fight a golem or look for an alternative?
I would actually advise you from fighting a golem too, because they're kind of a precious resource. Look, if you want to prove yourself against a golem, that's a different story.
I think, just to clarify, Turin, if I'm reading what you've said right, you mean we need to outdo one, not necessarily what I think Marius is thinking, fighting one head-to-head for some reason.
Yes.
Exactly.
That I think we can do. The outdoing them thing with your warriors thing, that is. That not the head-on thing. I think that probably really foolish.
That's the idea. Of course, it's also going to be dependent. Look, I need to introduce you to probably my best warrior eventually. So,
well, I guess
here's
today's
what
the
I'll
day of
do.
introductions, huh?
No, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna set up a meeting with the other with the heads of the other noble houses in the Smith cast. So Gavon, we're going to have the representatives from Branca, Dace, and Ivo. I'm gonna approach the situation with them. I also want you to meet Ronus Dace. He's the one that's in charge of everything that's going on right now.
Mhm.
At least from House Dace, and you can explain to him your plan. If he approves, we'll support you on that. Otherwise, you're here for guard duty, and that means just patrolling the deep roads that have already been cleared, while people are smithing and working and mining.
I see.
What's the best way to get on the good side of this Dace? What is he like?
Well, he's kind of a slippery bastard. His brother Jarek is usually the better one to talk to, but he's busy with some other assignment right now. Ronus has a lot of hands in different houses, especially the merchant class. That's how he makes his money. But he's also looking for other angles. I'm not willing to play these politic games, but Ronus is. If he has some cunning plan for you, he'll be the one to talk to you about it. You can't miss him either. He has reddish hair with a long mustache. You can set up that meeting tomorrow if you want.
Then I guess we got a plan.
I guess you do.
Mhm.
You have a place to stay.
Oh, I don't think we set that up yet, actually.
All right.
I
Well,
got a tent,
if
though.
you no. You're under the jurisdiction of House Turin. So, and he takes a couple of minutes, gets some paperwork out, puts it on the desk. You sign your marks here. That means that you are to be paid a stipend each month for your work. And that stipend will also include, does not include anything you find within the deep roads. Any artifacts from Orzammar will need to be claimed and categorized. And otherwise, you're free to do what you want down there, but do not fuck up with anything. Because if you do any negative actions, it reflects poorly on the house.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Whirling's gonna go ahead. He's just gonna take a look over the contract, probably actually read it for a bit, but probably sign.
I'm gonna remove the hand from the desk. Just so it's not there anymore.
I like to imagine Whirlin, being the
I-
messiest elf, has the nicest handwriting.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
Yes.
I can see it. Everybody's going robotic on me.
All right. Well, we'll wait for you to recover for a bit.
Hey, this is basically it, and he's saying you're allowed to stay in the House Turin bunk,
Mhm.
which is right outside.
Perfect.
So long as there's a bed that's open, because everybody's on different shifts.
Mhm. Okay, so that shouldn't be too difficult then.
There you go.
So, I think he also said we were going to meet his greatest warrior as well because we were seconding for him. Jay said that was
Yeah,
tomorrow, or was that a different person?
he said I'll introduce you tomorrow as well on that, because currently he's out in the field.
Gotcha. So, well, we got some time then. All right. So Whirlin has signed the contract, handed it over, and I guess everyone else has signed. Does Mosca appear out of nowhere inside a contract? Everyone else there?
Yeah. I'm going to take a look at the fine print if there's any, just to make sure that it's on the up and up. You're muted.
Hello?
Hey, there you go.
The fine print looks like it's on the up and up. It basically mentions that you're going to get a stipend each week, up to 3 sovereigns a month in total, when you add it all up. And the contract is on a month-by-month basis, so it would be renewed every month as standard mercenary fee. And it mentions all the other things that he said, like do not steal any artifacts. Those that do, you are under the laws of Orzammar. You will be accosted, jailed, and/or slain on the spot for destructions of property. Those who are mercenary dwarves are not considered part of the house and cannot use this to grant access into Orzammar at all. So on and so on, like a lot of like legalese like that.
Okay, so pretty standard. We're here doing our thing for them, and we get the money. And hey, money's still good, right?
As long as we observe the contract, yes.
Yes.
And hey, this is actually almost a little bit convenient, because if we do end up staying here for a month, how are the knights going to find us?
Don't get cocky now.
Yes, hello, fellow dwarves. We'd like to go into your location, which you only allow people who are explicitly allowed by our nobles, and we want to go rub off some people who are working for you. This will go well. All right. So I guess we got about a day to spend. What are we going to do, guys?
As you are, as you leave the office, you see another dwarf. This fella.
That is Selak.
And you notice he says, some fresh blood, huh?
It's still pretty fresh. I think it only becomes not fresh when it's not in me anymore.
Whirlin, stop talking.
Oh, okay.
I like your I like your sense of humor, kid, but you don't seem like the mercenary type. What are you doing in there with Torgeth, that old buzzard?
Oh, well, Rowan said not to talk anymore, and I'll just look over the road, and he's got to answer now.
Marius?
We are mercenaries. Well,
Oh.
We lost Rob.
look, we killed him.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, we're so good. We're so good at this. Perfect timing.
Hello?
Hey, welcome back.
Like clockwork.
Yep, we have perfect timing. So the buck has been passed from Whirlin over to Rodin, over to Marius.
We are Sellswords for House Turin.